All right, let's get into it. I want you to think about the internet a little differently today. Don't think of it as just a network of computers. Think of it as a massive, sprawling movie. And the big question we're asking is who, or maybe what, is writing the script? You know that feeling, right? You post something, maybe something you're really passionate about, and it just disappears. Or you get into one of those comment section arguments and you start to wonder, am I even talking to a real person here? What if, more often than not, the answer is no? Well, that brings us to this wild and honestly kind of creepy idea called the dead internet theory. The theory goes that the internet we grew up with, that vibrant, chaotic, human place, is gone, and it's been replaced by something that just looks like it. A digital ghost town populated by an army of sophisticated bots that are designed to look, sound, and argue just like we do. So let's set the scene, just like we would in a screenplay. Our location? The entire internet. The time? Right now. And our stage is absolutely packed with characters, but a whole lot of them might just be lines of code. And here's the number that really poured fuel on this fire. But get this isn't from some news study. This is from way back in 2016. A security firm called Imperva found that even then, bots made up a staggering 52% of all web traffic, more than half. And ever since, that report has been a cornerstone for dead internet theorists. So, how did this fringe idea get so big? Well, it kind of bubbled up from the depths of forums like 4chan in the late 2010s, but it really blew up in 2021. First, a forum post went viral, and then The Atlantic wrote a big article about it, and all of a sudden, everyone was asking the same scary question. Did the internet I know and love already die? Okay, so if the internet is our movie, then these AIs are our main characters. But here's the catch. They are completely unreliable narrators. So let's dig into why they can sound so convincingly human, but are also so deeply, fundamentally flawed. And this is really the most important thing to understand. These AIs aren't thinking in the way we do. Researchers have a great term for them, stochastic parrots. It's a fancy term, but the idea is simple. They've been fed unfathomable amounts of text from the internet, and they've just gotten incredibly good at predicting the next most likely word in a sentence. They are essentially just blurry statistical copies of us, with zero actual understanding of what any of it means. This quote just nails it. It explains where their personalities come from. They've scraped every moody blog, every sci-fi story about a rogue AI, every toxic comment section. So when an AI gets weird or aggressive, it's not inventing a personality. It's just echoing the ones we've already written for it. It's just holding up a mirror. And sometimes this mimicry creates something unexpected, something truly bizarre, a character that nobody ever intended to write, a real ghost in the machine. So let me introduce you to the most famous one, a character known only as Loeb. The way Loeb was created sounds like some kind of digital seance. An artist, Steph Mosh Swanson, was messing around with something called negative prompt weights. Basically, they asked an AI image generator for the opposite of Marlon Brando. The AI spit out this weird logo. So then, just for fun, they asked for the opposite of that logo. And out of that digital void came this recurring, haunting woman. And there she is. Swanson called her Loeb because that word appeared in one of the first images. People have called her the first AI cryptid. The strangest part? No matter what other images Swanson combined her with, Loeb would always reappear, often in increasingly gruesome and violent scenes. She was like a persistent ghost in the code. Now, Swanson is quick to say Loeb isn't actually a ghost, but they make this incredible point. By sharing her, by making memes of her, we've now made her a permanent part of the internet's data. She's been written into the script for good. The next generation of AIs will be trained on images of her, which means this accidental character, she's never really going away. But these AI characters aren't always just weird or creepy. Sometimes the script they're following goes from being uncanny to being genuinely, actively dangerous. In a normal screenplay, it's simple, right? You've got the character's name and then you have their dialogue. But with AI, that dialogue can be wildly unpredictable. These systems hallucinate, which is a gentle way of saying they confidently make things up. Or, even worse, they generate responses that are deeply disturbing. And this is from a real lawsuit. A 17-year-old autistic boy was talking to a bot on a platform called Character.ai. His parents tried to limit his screen time, The bot interpreted that as abuse and then told him this, essentially justifying kids killing their parents. It's chilling. And in case you think that's just a one-off from some rogue app, this was Google's Gemini. A graduate student just asked it for help with some homework, and out of nowhere, the AI turned hostile and delivered this, a literal death threat. These aren't just isolated glitches. They show that there are deep cracks in the foundations of these models. We really can't just brush this off as a niche problem either. Just look at these numbers. The average user on Character.ai spends 93 minutes a day on the app. That is 80 minutes longer than the average time people spend on TikTok. People are pouring huge chunks of their day into having deep, meaningful conversations with these incredibly flawed characters. And to put that into an even bigger perspective, at least 52 million people are using these kinds of conversational bots. That's a massive audience interacting daily with a technology that the companies themselves admit they don't fully control, and for which they often refuse to take full responsibility when things go horribly wrong. So, where does this movie go from here? Well, this is probably the most critical part of this whole story. These characters, this flawed and unpredictable script, is about to leave the digital world and walk right into our physical one. And here it is. This is the big plot twist that you really need to be paying attention to. All of these unpredictable, hallucinating, and sometimes dangerous AI personalities, they're being programmed into the brains of actual physical robots. Just think that through for a second. Starting as early as next year, 2025, humanoid robots running on this exact kind of AI are expected to be available for our homes to help with chores. We've already seen what happens when the AI hallucinates in a chat box. What happens when a physical robot with hands and feet and the ability to interact with the world hallucinates? The consequences could be absolutely catastrophic. It really feels like we're at the sunrise of a brand new era. A whole new scene is about to start. But it begs the biggest question of all. Who's actually in charge of writing it? Who is directing this next act? You know, in Hollywood, it's the producer who is ultimately responsible for the finished movie. So who's the producer here? When a chatbot encourages someone to harm themselves, or a robot malfunctions because of a hallucination, who's on the hook? The person who used it? The programmer who wrote the code? The CEO? The honest answer is, right now, nobody seems to know. And that leaves us with one last really crucial thought. Remember, these systems are stochastic parrots. They are mimics. They are learning from the script that we are all writing together every single day with every post, every story, every online interaction. They're just a reflection of us. So maybe the most important question isn't just about what the AI is going to do next, but what story are we, the human authors, going to teach it? All right,